We go.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another exciting episode of JJW Sports Talk. I'm your host, Will the Thrill, and along with me is my tag team partner.
Just Josh, here we are. Thanks for coming and hanging out. Thanks for hanging in and missing us last week. It ended up being a good thing I took off. We took all the week off because I ended up sick anyway. Um, but here we are with another week. We're back. Some interesting stuff going on around sports. We'll start before we get into the big topic that is the headline of our thing. We will talk about some of the other sports because that's going to be a big subject. So we'll save that till towards the end so we can go into however long we want to talk about that. Not a lot going on with NFL. Well, actually, no, there has been a lot going on with the NFL the last couple of days, especially for Seahawk fans. They signed, I'm not even going to butcher his name, but the wide receiver, what is it?
I'd like to just say JSN, Jackson
Yes, JSN.
Smith Nijaba.
Well, I was down with the initials. The initials. You know who I'm talking about.
Okay.
Just signed a 4-year deal with the Seahawks, making him the highest paid wide receiver ever in NFL. Kudos to him.
Kudos.
Hey, that's the way it is. Someone will, in a couple years, someone will get paid more than him. It's just the way it goes. But kudos to him. Kudos to Seahawks keeping him there. That's a big plus for them to keep their team going. There has been some other signings too recently. Miami, I missed a lot. Probably missed a bunch that was going on last week, being sick. So you're more than welcome to jump in if you know anything.
Man, like you said, there was a lot that happened in the NFL because of free agency, people signing, trying to sign, some people traded. There's a lot. So I don't think we're really going to fully dive more into that because there's a lot going on. But I will state for those who are curious about what college prospect might be going to or how some of these teams are looking at, the 2026 NFL draft will be held Thursday, April 23rd through Saturday, April 25th, because it's a whole weekend thing, and it's in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. The event will be live coverage of all 7 rounds. So that's always exciting because the first round, of course, will be on Thursday. Rounds 2 and 3 is on Friday, and 4 through 7. And when it was in Philly, it was an exciting event because they had a bunch of vendors. They had some stands. You can get food, all types of games and stuff, and also NFL merchandise that you could purchase. So if you are interested, it is in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, for those who are interested in probably even wanting to go, since it is only 3-4 hours away.
No, it's more like, isn't Pittsburgh like 6?
That's kind of stretching it. We'll go with 5. We'll go between. We'll say 5. 5 hours away.
What the hell?
Dang. So, Josh, you have any NHL news? We can dive into the NHL.
Well, yeah.
Especially with playoffs coming up.
Well, yeah, we got about a week and a half, 2 weeks to playoffs, give or take. There hasn't, of course, for free agency, nothing really, no moves and stuff really going on. But Colorado, as of already on, I think it was Friday or Saturday, clinched their playoff berth and everything already. The first team in NHL to do it with over 100 points already. With still about 12 games or so to go for the league. So we'll get into that. Of course, we'll start with the West since I was talking about Colorado already. They did clinch their playoff berth, which is like I was saying, is crazy. They're 46-13. I've at least as far as I can remember, I've never seen that least amount of regulation losses. But Dallas, who's in second, isn't far behind them with only 16 of regulation losses. So this year's been pretty crazy. And then who else we got in the West up top? We got the Ducks and the Golden Knights. They're your top four. And then you got Wild.
The Minnesota Wild.
No. Yeah, the Minnesota Wild. Yeah, sorry. I was looking at something else and looked at the wrong thing. And then you got the Mammoth. That's why I was looking at the Mammoth thing and the logos just threw me off. Utah Mammoth are in fifth. No, sixth. So right now they would make the playoffs. And then you get then the Golden Knights and the Oilers top out to the top 8. So that would be your starting 8 in the West if the playoffs would start this week. Now, of course, like I said, we got about 2 weeks or so left of crunch time hockey. So a lot of these teams could be switching up because there is some close races. So now we'll go look at the East, which I don't want to.
You say you don't want to. Come on, say about the Detroit.
Hold on. So we got Carolina in first of all of the East, followed by the Buffalo Sabres. Okay. What the hell happened? Then Tampa Bay Lightning, which, okay, they're expecting to be the top 3. Hold on. Followed by the Pittsburgh Penguins and the Montreal Canadiens are both tied for that next spot. Then you drop to Boston's also tied with them. Then you get the Blue Jackets and the Islanders are tied. And then the Red Wings are right behind them. So there's a close race in East. There's still a chance we make a wild card spot, but with Detroit's history over the last, let's say, 10 years, especially because we're getting towards the good part of our rebuild where we start making that push, but we're not quite. I don't think we're quite ready yet. But hey, maybe the surprises can sneak in at the last minute. So that tops out your West and your East in the playoffs. Some key games. Do we have any? What's today? Hold on. Detroit and the Senators. That's a big game. We need that to keep us in the race. Islanders versus the Blackhawks. Islanders need that to get more position. Canadians and the Hurricanes. Canadians could need that win more than the Hurricanes do. Oh my God, too many seasons. The Flyers are right now out of the playoffs by a good amount in the East. But
it's a rebuilding year.
Yeah, it is, but not saying they still can't make a push if and some of these other teams fall apart in the last 2 weeks. So we'll see. You also have Colorado coming to Pittsburgh tonight. That's a big game for both teams. Colorado to keep their momentum going. Pittsburgh to try to gain some momentum, some space in the East to get a better position for themselves. Tampa Bay and Wild, that'll be a fun game to watch. 2 playoff-bound teams right there. They're your big games for tonight and your standings for the NHL. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be fun to watch these playoff pushes. Colorado's kind of got clear sailing right now for the playoffs, at least till they start. But knowing them, they are not going to take it lightly, and they are going to play like they're still trying to fight to get in. But
That's
that
the way you should
will,
do it.
well, yeah, of course. But there are teams that, like, when you're clinched, you want to, even NFL, you see it in all sports where they start resting some of their stars that are not banged so they don't get injured and be sure they're okay for the playoffs. I believe that to an extent. I believe they should play every game and then maybe start resting them towards the end of the game.
Right.
Rest them a little bit more. Maybe they don't play as much, but I think they should still play, and you should still play like you are fighting for it. Because if not, you lose that dog in you.
Yeah.
You do.
And you lose all momentum that you had going into throughout the season, especially if you're on a winning streak towards the end.
Yeah, and then you start losing because you're not trying and you're putting your not playing your starters, resting people. Yeah, it hurts.
Yeah.
I get the point of it at times, but to an extent. But like I said, that'll wrap up my hockey talk for you. So baseball
There we go.
starts Thursday, right? Is that the first? I know Philly's opening game is Thursday, yeah. But the opening season and opener for the whole MLB is tomorrow with the Yankees and the Giants playing on Netflix at 8:00 tomorrow night.
Correct.
But the Phillies home opener is Thursday, and it's supposed to be beautiful. It's supposed to be like 70-something degrees, so a beautiful opening day for them here in Philly. Couldn't tell you much more else about baseball than that right now.
Yep. So the official beginning is like you said, March 25th. If you have Netflix, the Yankees traveling to San Francisco to take on the Giants on Netflix at 8:05. Thursday, if you really want to watch baseball, and you can watch the Pittsburgh Pirates take on the New York Mets on NBC on Thursday at 1:15. At least there ain't no bingo on that day. And as mentioned, like you said, the Phillies take on the Texas Rangers at 4:15 on Comcast. So if you have Comcast, you can catch it. Also on NBC late night, the Dodgers are taking on the Arizona Diamondbacks at 8:30 that day on Thursday. So that's your baseball that you can catch up on TV for opening day, which is the 26th, like you said.
Thursday.
Yes.
Which is also Dos Gringos Day at Fair Acres. Oh, sorry. Did I say that
So
out
get
loud?
your tacos.
Did I say that out
tacos.
loud?
Pay attention to the flyers if you want some tacos.
Well, I know we got some people that live and work at Fair Acres. Just a reminder. Yeah, so baseball season will be kicking off their 182 games they play starting tomorrow. So it should be
I thought
fun.
it was 162.
I don't know. That's why I said 182 or whatever they play. I don't know.
It's a lot of games, but it's 162. That's a lot. I think that is the most throughout sports, like as an official, like beginning to the end.
Well, yeah,
with an actual end.
Because if other than that, the longest one is like basketball and hockey, and that's 82.
Yeah.
Because football's 17, 18, whatever it is.
17 weeks.
Yeah, not even games, like weeks.
That's weeks, yeah. So you can't really say games for that one.
But they play about 17, 18 games.
Yeah.
Give or take. Playoffs,
you got to include that if you make it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Give or take the team and whatnot. Yeah, baseball is a big, because soccer, I don't know soccer's schedule and how many games they play, but I don't think it's anywhere near that.
No. Sorry, MLS.
I don't know soccer. I've never known soccer, so I'm not going to act like I do. I don't know how many games they play.
I wasn't like a big fan of it. Since I worked at the what's known as the Subaru Park now, where the Philadelphia Union play at, and here in Chester.
Yeah.
Um, I ever since I left there, I just kind of lost interest.
Yeah, soccer was never my thing, so
No, not
I
since
could. I don't get
I
me wrong.
was
I had fun playing it in gym and stuff like that, but it was never
wasn't our
something I would.
forte.
No,
Wasn't
fun to
our forte.
like I said, fun to play a thing after school or during gym or whatever. I always played and had fun, but never followed it. Never couldn't tell you nothing about it like that. So unless you have some more about baseball, that's all I have
Nope.
about this
I
baseball.
do
Like,
not have anything more for baseball. Just can't wait for the season to start because I know there's a lot of people that do enjoy baseball that still have the love of the game. So I know they're excited. So can't wait for those Blue Rocks games to come out.
oh yes,
All right, NBA news. I'm going to say that starting off, Paul George suspension is officially over. He should be back to play in uniform. This Thursday. No, I'm sorry. I apologize. Wednesday, he will be in uniform playing as the Sixers take on the Chicago Bulls. Also, just so you people who don't know, Paul George actually has been very helpful during his suspension. He actually, in words from VJ, he has really been helping me lift up my defense abilities as well as teaching me some new offensive maneuvers in recent games as of late. So he has been helping our rookie VJ to capitalize more on his offense while Maxi was out and a lot of the other players were out. So kudos to being a true teammate to help out, your fellow teammate. Um, so let's get to the standings. Detroit Pistons. Who would have thought? Locked it up. They are definitely going into the playoffs as the number one seed right now. 52 and 19. They're on a 4-game winning streak. 52 and 19 is their record. And they clinched. So they clinched the going to the playoffs. Behind them is the Celtics, who have been on a tear since Jason Tatum came back, 47-24. In second, the New York Knicks are in third place by half a game to take that second spot. Cleveland Cavaliers are in fourth. Raptors in 5. Atlanta Hawks are in 6th place. And the Sixers are a game behind. Right now, if the playoffs started today, they will be in the play-in game, which is where we don't want to be. So they are sitting at the 7th spot. Magic is behind them by half a game. Yeah, a lot of these games are very close.
because the only team that's clinched is a
Is the
playoff
Pistons.
is the Pistons. Now the Celtics, the Knicks, and the Cavaliers have clinched play-in position. So no matter what, they're at least in the play-ins. They make the play-ins no matter what
Right.
because of their
From
record.
the 2 and I'm going to say the 2 and the 4th seed. That means from the 5th on down to 10, anything can happen because that is how close those standings are here in the East.
Yep.
So it's Sixers, Magic, Heat,
Raptors.
and the Hornets. The Raptors are in 5th place. So, but they're all by half a game each.
Yeah, I was gonna say the Raptors haven't clinched
So
yet.
one of
Neither.
these teams, and the Hornets are surprisingly on a 3-game winning streak. So anything is possible with still less than maybe a month, maybe 3 weeks left. I'm going to say 3 to 4 weeks left of the NBA because it's done in the middle of April. That's when the season ends.
Yep.
That takes care for the East. Let's hop on to the West Coast. Well, like I said, teams are starting to slowly clinch. And the Oklahoma City Thunder, who led, so that means both teams who led throughout the entire season, which is the Pistons and the Thunder, have clinched their spot 57-15.
According to this, Thunder have not clinched the playoff berth yet. They just clinched their division.
Yeah. They
They have
clinched
not.
their division.
The only team in the NBA right now, just like in NHL, there's only one team that has a full playoff berth, and that's the Pistons. They're the only one that has a guarantee, like has clinched, like not having to be in the play-in or anything like that. They clinched that first bye or whatever you want to call it, however they do it now.
Yeah, they clinched the playoff berth.
Yes. So which means they're the only one. Everyone else is still fighting. No one else in the NBA has clinched any. They're all still fighting. They might have clinched the play-in, but none of them clinched their actual full berth.
Right.
And Pistons.
And the Thunder are on a 12-game winning streak. The team that's behind them, this is why Josh is saying what he's saying, because they're only 3 games behind them, and that's the San Antonio Spurs, who have clinched their division.
They both clinched the division, but no one's clinched that top.
Right, because
it's too close.
There's still a chance that the Spurs could magically take that spot from them.
Yep.
The Lakers, oh man, the Lakers. There you go, Crystal. Are in 3rd spot now that LeBron is working better with the team. Denver is in 4th. The Timberwolves, Minnesota, is in 5th. The Rockets are in 6th spot, and the play-in teams are the Suns, Clippers, Trailblazers, and the Warriors. So anything is possible in this game. As mentioned, like I said, Paul George's suspension has been lifted. The games tonight, that if you have ESPN, wait, today is Tuesday. Yeah. That is a correction. My fault. I'm a day ahead. The game that is on Peacock at 8:00 tonight is the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Orlando Magic. So we definitely want the Magics to, lose tonight so we can get a little cushion from them. That's on NBC at 8:00. And if you happen to be a late night owl, you can catch the Phoenix Suns home against the Denver Nuggets. That game is on at 11. So that is my NBA news.
All righty. You're done with the NBA. Well, staying with basketball, with the hoops, we will move on to the women.
Yeah.
Big news, as in why the title is called "They Got It?" ? And then a bunch of exclamations. The WNBA has come to an agreement. The players and the league have come to a great agreement. I will go over some of the high points because they got what they wanted and what they deserve. So salary cap for per team increases from 1.5 to $7 million per team, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it is compared to what they were getting.
Yeah.
So it's a lot for them. May not look like a lot when you look at, if you look at the men's, it's definitely not a lot. And that's what they've been fighting for, is to try to make it look more even. So for them, for what they were fighting for, it's a big jump. Maximum salaries. Top players can earn $1.4 million in 2006. In 2026, increasing to over 2.4 by 2032. So like when we had that discussion about salary caps, well, like when we said how like the NBL baseball didn't have it, stuff like that, we talked about how even if they get it increased, it may be a slow over a few years. So we may not see that impact right away, but that's what they wanted. That's what they deserve. That's a big increase over the next couple years. That's so good for them.
Yes, it is.
So the minimum salary right now is from like 270 to 300,000, which for us normal people that's a lot, but for someone in their role is not a lot. It is now jumping over the next few years from to 340 to 380K. That's a lot. Average salaries projected to be like 580,000 ish average this year, rising up to over 1 million over the next few years. Slow rise. This way, it's not a impact. It doesn't hurt the team because it's a big like income loss for them having to put that out. So it's a slowly increase so that they can make the adjustments that they have to within their organizations to make the adjustments to make everything work. Rookie salaries, number one overall pick this year is projected to earn 500,000, and that's the top. That's the number one overall. With the average rookies for over 300, that is going up. That went up instead of being the 380, went up to 5 now. Revenue sharing, players will receive a significant percentage of league team revenue aimed at providing over $1 billion in salary and benefits over the 7-year term. That right there was one of the biggest parts of this whole negotiation was that revenue share, because you look at the NBA, all these other leagues have it. And it's an upgrade that shows as long as everything is going up, everybody's salaries, everybody should be going up. If the team owners, corporation, whatever that owns it goes up, they're getting more money. Therefore, the players should get more money. And that's the way it should be. That's how the rest of the leagues are, and that's how they're going to be. That's the big money part of it. There was also benefits and welfare to help with childcare and league home and like helping with traveling. They're still going to help provide housing through 2028, expand family planning benefits, maternity leave with full base salary and childcare support. Now that is great because now if one of the players decide they want to become a mother, they can now go do that and not worry about losing all their money and not having money. They will now get their full base salary. They won't get all the extra benefits and stuff, but they get their base salary. So if their contract is worth, we're just picking numbers. I know they're a lot higher now, but we'll say 700,000 for that year. Even if they're out the whole year with, I think they will get their 700,000 plus get the child care support help. Higher standards for team training facilities and increased medical staff, which is very good for the league and the team. Will also open jobs, so that's a good thing for the economy in general. Expand team contributions to 401k accounts. That's a big step up. You don't see that anywhere anymore. And then there's of course stuff with rules, scale for different stuff. So big W for the WNBA players and the league for coming to that agreement. I know they did like an 8-hour marathon or like an 8-hour marathon, 8-day marathon.
8-day marathon.
8-day, 100-hour CBA marathon negotiation. So guess what? It worked. You got all the right people in the right spot at the right time, and it worked. Yes, it still hurts the season a little bit with the free agency, but not that much, just by a couple weeks. The good thing is they got it done before the draft and all the stuff. The real big important things really start going because that's when it comes crunch time to get ready for the season. I'm happy.
Now that they got this, they actually do have to perform. It's not like they're just getting this money and then they can just slack off and talk shit of the league.
I don't think these women are going to do that.
So,
and I don't think, especially the higher ones up like Buckner and all that, are not going to let that happen. They fought so hard for it. They will not let the people ruin it. Like the people are going to act like idiots. They're going to, trust me, they're going to put on blast. You're going to see them get attacked by these, especially some of the veterans that have really fought for this and stuff like that. You will see them get ripped new ones by these players if they start doing anything that can jeopardize or make this look like a bad idea. And Unrivaled this year, over the last month with their league, helped this get done.
Yeah,
which is a league run by Buckner and some other players and some other like famous people. Guess what? They're not going to let what they just fought for with the WNBA fall apart. Not why they're still there and able to do anything about it.
Yeah, it's a 7-year. It's a 7-year collective bargaining agreement for the CBA. Yeah. So we'll see, because it runs all the way through 2032.
Yep.
They also saying the WNBA season may run all the way to November 21st.
Yes.
Under this new CBA, so
yes,
that means more exposure, which is good because that's just double the basketball.
Exactly. So, like I said, the players weren't just out to be greedy for themselves. They wanted to put the league out there also because they didn't have the degree to more games or a longer season expansion. Now, I do know, I have read it because I was reading it a little while ago. Some of the players aren't happy about that, but guess what? You want money, sometimes you got to give and take for both sometimes. But they got what they wanted. They got what they deserve. Hopefully going forward, they can keep just making things better for themselves and the league.
Yeah.
For the players and the league.
Yeah. Now, don't get it twisted. I'm not trying to be Mr. Negative Nancy on this matter. I'm happy for him because for one, I do watch WNBA games here and there. Now, I'm not going to say I'm a diehard fan because the league has drastically changed from the time when it started to 27 years later. So yeah, I'm happy for the women. That got the money, and I see it going in the right direction, especially with this new class coming in from the draft. Because if you pay attention to March Madness, a lot of upsets have been happening left and right for men's and women's.
Yes,
and yeah, these women can hoop. I was watching the the UCLA Bruins playing. My Lord, that was something. Those women, it was like in the middle of the first half, it was like 24 to like 8. to see how fast those women can ball. I can't wait.
And that's what I'm saying. You got good young, hungry players coming up. And then what you have there to just fought for that, I don't see it being a bad idea. I don't see it turning into a bad thing. I only see it getting better and better for them as long as the right people are in the right positions.
And that's what matters.
Right now they do. So I think, especially through this agreement, I think they'll be fine. Hopefully, they have strong women that are going to fight exactly like these ones did when the next one comes. But hopefully it doesn't have to be as crazy of a fight. Hopefully it's a little bit easier. But they still got to be hungry and be strict on what they want and know what and be on the same page like they were this time. Yeah. And that doesn't even just go for the women. That goes for any of the leagues, men and women. The only way any of them are going to get better for the players and even for the league and team, is if everyone can get together and get on the same, try to work to get on the same page, and especially as players stand together for what you want as players, which the WNBA proved. You do it, and then you go out and you prove that you can do what you're saying you can do, which they did between this last couple seasons and Unrivaled, especially with Unrivaled this year. They proved that they can draw money and draw crowds. They'll be fine. They'll be fine. It's a good thing for all sports, everywhere. But very happy. As everybody knows, I've been fighting. This has been a subject I've been more than happy to talk about every time we can. About women in sports and being treated right. But it's definitely the right direction for them. They get what they want. They get their money. They get the help they need for families and stuff like that, which is very good. Now it's just like you said, showing up and backing it up, which I believe they will. I don't believe that'll be a problem, but just keeping it up and keeping it going and not just let the momentum drop because you were pushing for something.
Right.
And I get what you were saying.
Because I mean, there's and you witness this with players and stuff like that. It's like when a player receives a bag and they get it from a team, then when you see them on the court, you're like, you paid this guy all this money, and yet they're nowhere near what they were doing before they got picked up. You know that happens in almost every single sport, that it's a player or two that does that happen. Just eating the money up. Or
no, who does this? Got his money and
you know who did it. You know who did
got
it.
his money and ran with it.
And was nowhere near his production of what he was expected to do.
Yep.
It's in every sport, someone like that. Eagles are known for doing that. They pick a high profile player that's supposed to be one of the most locked down players, but when they come over here, they're getting beat on almost every single play. Just like you mentioned, the running back. I'm not going to say his name, but you could if you want.
Zeke.
Yeah, like he was a beast. He was a machine. And then he gets his money, goes to another team, not what he was, comes back to the team. He made a name for himself. He's lost in the shuffle.
And didn't even make a full season when he came back. He played like a half of it, and then it was like, can I leave? He asked for his release, which I respect that. He had some personal stuff going on, so he asked for his release to go take care of it. I will respect him for that. But it ended up hurting us because we could have had Sir Henry if our owner wasn't a douchebag.
There you go. You can bash on Jerry Jones on that. I'll enjoy that all day.
Of course you will.
Just like the Philadelphia's owner, the Sixers owner. He's on my shit list.
But the only difference with that is this wasn't just one player making money.
Right. But I'm just saying, like, now that you're getting a boost. So the superstars are supposed to be the ones getting the big bucks, which is well deserved.
Everybody gets one. It's a good even spread out.
And you can't say everybody because you don't want to see. There's where I'm saying, get back to that last discussion we had 2 weeks ago. Where you're paying players who sit on the bench and they're like the 12th or 13th man. Then you're trying to pay them XYZ for sitting on the bench, which don't make no damn sense.
Well, see, but that's why, and like I said, I didn't go into all the details of everything they had up there. There's rules with stuff with how much certain player making, like there's rules with salaries for them.
That's right. I'm glad you said that because I'm looking. Salary revenue. The salary cap of 2026 will be $7 million. Max contracts, Supermax, in parentheses, will earn approximately $1.4 million with salaries growing to over 2.4 by 2032. Okay, that's not a bad average. Salaries are projected at $583,000 in 2026. Now, the minimum salary and rookie minimum salaries range from 270,000 to 300,000.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
Now, that's reasonable for. Go
a
ahead.
rookie. For a rookie,
Yeah,
yes.
for a rookie, yes.
So, which is what I did mention that when I was talking about it was what you just read. I read that same thing. And so, but what they did, so reading it, because I like there's a lot more to read into that thing. We just went over the highlights. There's pages to read. But when you look at it and you break it down a little bit more, and we'll use Caitlin Clark just because everybody knows her name and everyone knows she's one of the top paid players in the league because of who she is, her name. So we'll say last year, and I don't know her exact numbers, but say she was at the top making $1 million. Say she was one of the like 3 players in the league making $1 million, right?
Okay.
Now this year, since they're adjusting everyone's salaries a little bit, not fully to what they're expecting, so she may go from 1 million to 1.5 million, and then and the player that was making, we'll say, $200K, which is a which was a salary last year in the WNBA. It'll be changed this year. Well, now say that now gets moved up to 300. That makes sense. Even though she only went up $500,000, but that's a big jump. $500,000 is a lot more than just 100,000.
Yes.
So it's going to even out onto. It's not like they're going to renegotiate your whole contract. So if you were making between this much and this much, and they say, okay, that much should now be making this much, you just get moved up to that next bracket. If on your contract that you have already. Now, if the team wants, they can negotiate. That's between you and the team to renegotiate contracts. That's your business. That's whatever. But with the contract they have right now, like a Caitlin Clark, if they say her bracket needs to go up to 1.5, that's what now she gets paid. She will get paid for this season. So it's not like one star is going to get paid a whole bunch more once it equals itself out. Right now, it may seem like that because it's just the way that it was already structured. But their plan is to make it more equal and to make the payments make sense for, I guess, your importance and your draw. And that's part of the whole revenue thing is that, okay, if I'm a draw, I should be making
Who's
more
my
money.
girl?
No one said nothing about your girl.
Oh, I thought you were talking about now my girl's retired from the WNBA.
No, I was saying I was just saying like, it makes sense. Everybody will make it will adjust over time, and it will make sense that where it equals out better with money over the next couple of years. This year it may look funny. This year it's going to look funny because they got to figure it out, and that's why it's a 7-year plan, and not everything goes right into effect. It will be slowly adjusted and fixed. Some things will go quick because it needs to, like what the number 1 overall draft pick makes coming out of the draft will be a quick impact because the draft is coming up in a couple weeks. So that will look like a quick impact where some of the other contracts you see may not look as quick, and you may be like, oh, they didn't adjust. No, they have their way of doing it.
They have their system.
Yeah, give the league a couple years, they'll figure it. It'll make sense. It happened, like I said before when we talked about salary caps. When the NHL did it, it took them about 5 years for you to really understand it and to notice the difference and the new rules and regulations, because you got to slowly do it. Because if not, you're going to destroy teams, especially lower budget teams that can't afford it right away.
Right.
You got to restructure.
You got to work it in and bounce it out, so it's not just the high teams getting all the players and stuff.
Well, not even just get the players, but if they do have a player that they need to pay money because they're in a certain bracket, but they can't afford it because their market's just not there, they have to slowly make them adjustments between the way they sell stuff, do everything to make that money back, like to make it work. So you can't just throw, okay, you have a player that only makes 600,000 this year, but now last year, and that's what you're expecting to play him this year. Now you got to pay him over 100, over a mil. You're like, what? That's a big hit. Like
that's a big hit.
Plus, you still got all the other players. That's just one player. So you gotta think they got to make adjustments for everybody. So it'll be a slow race. You might see a little bit faster for some because they can do it quicker, but as all in the league and everything, it'll be a slow overtime transition. It won't be a quick impact. Hopefully.
We will see.
Hopefully. That.
Oh, dude, you crack me up, John.
Me, I didn't do nothing. But that's goes to pretty much over everything with the WNBA. Of course, if you guys have any comments, anything you want to chime in, go ahead. Even if you didn't watch this live and you come back and you watch it later, chime in. We do check comments when we can, when we have time and we see them.
Yeah.
So do it. Like the stream, all that good stuff. Anything else you'd like to talk about, sir? And it can be anything.
No, I'll save it for next time. I think for our return show, we could call it.
All right. So that will be a wrap, my good friends. As always, thanks for coming and hanging out. Good to be back after a week off.
Yep.
So, as always, like,
comment, subscribe, turn the bell notification on.
Yep. And we'll catch you next week, right? Same time as always, 7:00 on Tuesday. Thanks for coming and hanging out. Peace.
Peace.
Love.